This is a video guide to an Excel-based tool that calculates the carbon footprint of a building. It is designed to demonstrate the Estonian carbon footprint calculation method for construction works. This tool was developed by the researchers of Taltech in a project financed by the Estonian Ministry for Economic Affairs and Communications in 2021. The tool applies Excel macros, therefore you may need to click Enable Content right after opening the Excel file. To make testing easy, the tool asks for a minimum number of inputs to get started. On the starting page, you need to select the type of the building and the year of completion. The year of completion is the first year when building is expected to be in use. For example, if you choose 2025, this will be the first year of the lifespan of the building and the first year to which the use stage emissions are allocated. On the ribbon above, you can find the blue navigation buttons which guide you through the process step by step. The right arrow will take you to the first calculation module. Modules A1 to A3 calculate the greenhouse gas emissions from the production of materials. On the left-hand side of the module worksheet, you can find the plus button that opens a set of new rows that explain how each module is calculated. On this page, you need to set up the bill of materials. This is a list of all the construction materials and their quantities. There are three ways of inserting the construction materials. 1. Manually, by feeding in the materials row by row on this worksheet. 2. Using a list of materials from a design software on the import worksheet. Or 3. Creating a schematic building design on the sketch worksheet. If you want to do this manually on this worksheet, you have to do 3 inputs for each material row. First, select the name of the material. Then insert the volume of the material in cubic meters. And finally, specify the category that the material belongs to. Please scroll down the worksheet to describe all the construction materials of the building by these 3 inputs. At the moment, Estonian dataset of construction material emission factors covers only a limited number of materials, so please choose the option that is closest to the original material specification. In practice, the bill of materials is often exported from the building information model in the design software. The list of materials can be exported from the design software as an Excel spreadsheet. The cells including the names of the materials and the quantities are copied and pasted into this calculator on the import worksheet. On the ribbon above, you can find the import button that takes you directly to the import worksheet. On this worksheet, you can paste a table which includes a bill of materials. For this, you need to visit the design software to prepare building materials schedule. First, export building materials schedule from ArchiCAD as a new Excel spreadsheet and copy the whole table. Click the small icon with an arrow on the upper right corner to display a menu with 3 options. Click Show Tabs and Comments, click File, Print, choose the printer and print. When you have copied the Excel table, please return to the import worksheet, click Auto Hide ribbon and continue. Click on the cell indicated with 2 arrows. Paste the table here. As you can see, this is a sample material schedule that includes very few lines of materials. Please make sure that the material quantities in cubic meters are copied in this column under the cubic meter symbol. This is where the calculator picks the material quantities. On the left-hand side of the table, use the control buttons to select the material on each line so that it is the best possible match with the original materials list from ArchiCAD. When your list is ready, move back to A1 to A3 worksheet by clicking the navigation button, and there click Apply Import. The materials and quantities are copied in the calculator. Modules A1 to A3 calculate the greenhouse gas emissions from the production of materials. You can find the Apply Import button in the upper right corner under the ribbon. After this, you still need to specify the category for each material imported. When the materials are listed, you can see the results in the column A1 to A3 result. Use the blue right arrow key to proceed with the calculation. The module A4 estimates the greenhouse gas emissions caused by the transportation of construction materials from factory to the construction site. The tool proposes default values: 3,000 kilometers for globally sourced materials, 500 kilometers for locally sourced materials. If you know where a material is transported from, transportation distance can be adjusted here with the control buttons. You can measure the distance, for example, on Google Maps. The distance is multiplied by 1.4 to include the return trip without load. Reset button beneath the ribbon returns the default values in the transportation distance column. And again, from plus button, you can get more information on how this module is calculated. Close the window with minus button when you don't need to see the information. And when you are ready, the blue button with the right arrow takes you further in the calculation. The module A5 estimates the greenhouse gas emissions caused by the construction site activities. The tool proposes a default value for wastage percentage. The value can be adjusted with the control buttons next to the value. For prefab modular construction, the wastage percentage can be turned to 0, except for the foundation and other parts of the building constructed on site. Reset button in the upper right corner returns the default values in the wastage percentage column. When you are ready, the blue button with the right arrow will take you in the next calculation module. The modules from B1 to B4 are not included in the Estonian carbon footprint calculation method, so you can skip these worksheets by pushing the right arrow button. The module B4 calculates the impact of materials replacement during the life of the building. Replacement includes all materials with a service life that is shorter than the assessment period. The tool proposes a default value service life for each material. Service life can be adjusted with the arrow buttons next to the value. And again, the reset button returns the default values in the service life column. When you are ready, the blue button with the right arrow will take you to the next module. The module B5 is not included in the Estonian carbon footprint calculation method, so you can skip this page. Press right arrow again. The module B6 calculates the greenhouse gas emissions caused by the energy use over the life of the building. Energy is another important input for the carbon footprint calculation. The delivered energy for heating of spaces and water, as well as electricity, needs to be calculated in another tool, as this tool doesn't include energy calculation. Delivered energy is calculated in the same way than for the energy certificate. This is how you insert the information on the energy use. First, select the main heating energy source from the menu. Then insert the heated net floor area as in the energy certificate. Next, select the assessment period from the menu. The Estonian method applies the calculation period of 50 years. Then insert the delivered energy for heating of space, cooling, heating of water, and electricity. The graph displays the impact of your inputs. The Estonian method applies a scenario on the grid electricity that is expected to become less carbon intensive in the near future. Click the right arrow to proceed with the calculation. The module B7 is not included in the Estonian carbon footprint calculation method, so click the right arrow again to skip this worksheet. The module C1 calculates the greenhouse gas emissions caused by the demolition of the building. The estimate is based on the building type selection on the start page. Insert the total floor area in the white box. The right arrow button takes you to the next worksheet. The module C2 calculates the greenhouse gas emissions caused by the transportation in the end-of-life stage. By default, this module applies a transportation distance of 50 kilometers and a road transportation emission factor of 0.0116 kilograms CO2 per ton kilometer. This module has a minor impact on the result and it is calculated automatically, so please click the right arrow to proceed. The module C3 estimates the greenhouse gas emissions from waste processing. This is based on the bill of materials and their classification in the Estonian materials database. The C3 share shows a percentage of materials that are accounted in this module. Also, this module is calculated automatically, so please click again the arrow button to proceed. The module C4 calculates the greenhouse gas emissions from final disposal. The material share that was not included in C3 is included in here. There are no inputs for this module, so check it out and proceed with the arrow button. The category D entails the benefits and loads beyond the system boundary that wouldn't occur without the construction project. The results is not included in the carbon footprint, but is reported as a separate figure. The calculation is based on the default value in the material database. There are no inputs in this module. Please click again the right arrow button to get to the calculation results. The results worksheet displays the results of the calculation. Carbon footprint is announced as a single number on the first row. The graphics display the greenhouse gas emissions over the life of the building. The graph on the right shows the cumulative emissions. Please scroll down to see more result graphics. There you can find 3 pie diagrams which help you to check your inputs. Please click next the blue versions button on the upper right corner. It will show you how you can compare the calculation results. Later we will return to the results page to see the printing option. This worksheet enables the comparison of versions. The version control is done with the action buttons in the 3 rows on the right. The first row of action buttons copies the current calculation and makes it a version. You can continue editing the current calculation and return to this version later. The second row of action buttons copies an old version and makes it the current calculation. Please notice that all the selection of current calculation will be written over. The third row of action buttons resets versions. After this, the values cannot be recalled. As you can see, the results are displayed on a gray background. If you would like to print out the comparison on a paper, please click Print button on the ribbon. This worksheet is designed for printing the comparison of versions on paper. For printing, you need to do a small exercise. Click the small icon with an arrow on the upper right corner to display a menu with 3 options. Click Show Tabs and Comments. Click File, Print. Choose the printer and click Print. After printing, click Auto Hide ribbon and Continue. Versions button takes you back to the Versions worksheet. Here I want to get back to the results page, so I will click the left arrow button. To print out the results, I click here Print. This worksheet is designed for printing the calculation results on paper. For proper reporting, please fill in some data about your project. Please type in the address of the building. Please type in the name of the assessor, that is your name. Please specify the type of foundation by selecting the best option from the menu. Please specify the load-bearing system of your building by selecting the best option from the menu. These 2 inputs are for checking the results. Now you're ready to print. This again has 4 phases. Click the small icon and an arrow in the upper right corner to display a menu with 3 options. Click Show Tabs and Comments. Click File, Print. Choose the printer and print. After printing, click Auto Hide ribbon and Continue. You can go back to the results page by clicking Results. This was the whole calculation process. You can go back to Start by clicking Start, or go through the module pages in reverse order by clicking the left arrow button. If you want to save the current result, please make it a version before you make any changes in the inputs. Finally, I will show you 2 worksheets that you do not actually need in the carbon footprint assessment process. However, they contain important background information. You can access them through the Excel navigation buttons below. The Materials worksheet displays the construction materials database and the default values in it. The Energy Scenarios worksheet displays the scenarios for the CO2 emissions factor of the energy carriers in Estonia. For comparison, the graph also displays the Finnish scenario for the grid electricity and district heating. The Start button takes you back where we started, and you can start another calculation. Thank you for watching.